Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Saggy, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this week, your key to the week is the Moon card. So the first question that I really want you to ask yourself this week is, whatever situations arise, ask yourself how this is being mirrored back at you in some way, shape or form. Remember, the moon as a luminary doesn't necessarily have her own light, but she reflects the light of the sun and directs it in different ways, or focuses or harnesses that energy in different ways. This week, I kind of feel like the Moon card for you is really highlighting an aspect of yourself, maybe something that is ready to be uncovered. Maybe this is a part of you that is a tendency that you are as yet unaware of. And the way that this is likely to show up for you this week, especially given the way that the whole, planetary alignments, etc. are taking place, it's likely to be that whatever happens for you this week, it's a reflection. So something that you're putting out into the world is coming back at you. But remember as well, under the light of the moon or under the cover of darkness, things tend to be distorted. So this week, maybe something that comes up as a reflection to you is a distortion of something that you're putting out there, which can likely mean that somewhere your message, something that you're trying to get across, it's getting lost in translation. So you're going to have to find a way of making something clearer this week. All right, now for your actions and options, you have the Two of Cups. Partnerships, connections, collaborations and relationships show up for you this week. You've got this with the Moon card, right? So for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, that stuff has to be private this week. Spend time with your lover, spend time with your partner, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your, one of each if you have, whatever you have. Spend time with them this week, because the Two of Cups suggests that you are feeling more connective and more harmonious, but there is an element of this, right? So if what you're getting or receiving from your partner this week doesn't feel aligned, or it doesn't fit, something about it feels off, ask yourself what it is that you are miscommunicating or is being reflected back at you through or via a distortion of some sort. That's one way that this could show up in terms of business partnerships, friendships, connections, collaborations, etc. This week, you really are in that very connective space. But with this Moon card, it almost feels like maybe there's a part of you that is not being heard, for the way that you mean it. And so this week, clarity is probably the best thing that you could do. Like, seek clarity, seek to offer clarity in all situations so that nothing can be misconstrued or misinterpreted. All right. And remember, everyone's going to be we're all going to have our emotions heightened even more this week because we've got that eclipse taking place. So for your communications and conversations, you've got the Moon card. Something's getting lost in translation this week, right? So you may say something in jest or as a joke, and when it hits, it's like, what did you say to me? Do you know what I mean? Like, you could say something as a passing comment that really sticks with somebody, that they really take to heart, and it's completely outside of the way that you mean it. Now, yes, communication is a two-way street, right? How somebody receives something that we say versus what we say isn't always down to us. However, just because of the way that things are going to be this week. And it's not about explaining yourself or anything like that. It's just about really making sure that you say what you mean and you mean what you say, so that when it's received, there can be no question about what your true intentions are. Now, because you've got a double hit of this Moon card, I will say to you, maybe, just maybe, my dear Saggies, you guys know I love you. My magical mama is a Saggy and I love her to pieces. But it's worth saying, you've got a double hit of this Moon card energy. check your own intentions this week. What is the point of what you're saying or what you're doing, what you're communicating to people, to friends, to partners, to collaborators, to your colleagues at work, or in your academic sphere? What are your actual intentions? As long as you are clear on what they are, explaining them to, and like I said, it's not about explaining yourself, it's about being clear so that nothing can be misconstrued. As long as you are clear on what your intentions are, nobody can misinterpret them when you kind of tell them what you're doing and why. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, I mean, it might be a week just to lay low. Do you know what I mean? Like, just to kind of say, okay, everyone's going to be a bit cray this week. Maybe standing back and letting it be what it will be good enough. It is the moon card, so maybe something or someone from the past in your job, old ideas, old thoughts, old duties might come back up. But it could also be a case of old enmities as well. So just keep an eye out for that kind of thing. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, I don't like this week for starting anything new. I have to be honest with you. And if anything, I would use this week to wrap things up, to tie loose ends up. The reason I say that is, again, because, if you get into something with somebody this week, the chances are you're not seeing them clearly. They might not be, they might think, oh, I'm getting an amazing deal here, mate. It's one of those things like, when you see on those horror stories online, like, I thought I was buying this and when I got it, it was like this, or do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those weeks. So just be careful. For those of you that are retired or no longer working, this would be a really good week, or it looks like a week where you're doing a lot of really deep introspection. You may also be looking at your partnerships, relationships and connections and asking yourself, what needs to be changed here? What needs to be evolved? For your love and relations, you've got the Ten of Cups. This is beautiful. So here's a little secret. The Two of Cups is such a wonderful card because it wants to be, secretly it wants to be the Ten of Cups. And it has all of the potential to be, which is one of the reasons people call this the true love card. So you combine these two cards in their energy when it comes to true love, relationships and connections. That is your sanctuary this week. It's your partner that provides the love, the care, the support. It's your partner that maybe shields you from some of this, craziness that is going on out in the world. That being said, remember that they are a person too and will have their own stuff. So what I like about this though is it's the Ten of Cups, right? This is home, happy, hearth, all that kind of stuff. You give this over then to the people that are single. You, my dear Saggies, look like you are ready for something new. Like you're ready to maybe meet someone, that you're ready to settle down. Maybe you're ready to find the life partner. And then the double hit of the moon card suggests that anyone that shows up this week, maybe they're going to be around for a long time, maybe they're not. And more importantly, maybe you're not necessarily seeing all sides to them. And maybe, just maybe, there may already be somebody else in the picture for them. I'm not saying that they're in another relationship or anything like that, but they may be undecided about someone else and you may just come in and complicate that further. So I just want you to, don't see it as something like, oh, well, that this is the person, they've turned up now and this is it. Just be a bit more discerning than that. For your money and materials, you've got the Five of Swords. So now we start to draw up a picture, all right? You've got a double hit of that Lunar card energy. You've got the Five of Swords in the money and materials. When it comes to money, finances and resources this week, things are definitely not clear. Be careful when it comes to the financial sphere this week because there could end up being some sort of argument and or dispute. The other thing with the Five of Swords I've observed is it sometimes brings up an expense that we weren't expecting, and the moon card having such a strong link to the past, this could be an unpaid debt of some sort. It could be money that you owe somebody that you'd completely forgotten about. If those of you that have people that owe, if you've got people that owe you money, if you ask for it this week, it's just going to cause an argument. Wait till you're wait till the energy is in a stronger position. Because if you ask this week, it's likely to explode. All right. One, because you will be more frustrated, you know, that you're having to ask or that you're having to chase. And two, because they don't have it. All right. Certainly not at this moment in time. And even if they do have it, double hit the moon card, they're going to tell you that they don't. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, your Five of Swords is your nervous system. You've got to find ways to cool and soothe yourself this week, right? Whether that is a massage, whether it's a bubble bath, whether it's, you know, a walk out in nature with your toes in the grass. Oh. It's a little bit of me. Whether it is, you know, whatever it is, but find a way to really stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system specifically so that you can bring your body down and ease some of that nervous tension that might be around. You might be very much in your feels this week as well with such a hit. I mean, this is so much water. It's all water, actually. You've got 2 cups cards, you've got the moon. This is just all water, right? So just be aware that that is around. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, this could be a dispute or an argument that takes place around the home at night. And if that is the case, I invite you this, always, obviously, you know, safety first. But I invite you this week, whatever happens in the locality, just steer clear, all right? It's just people being loud and crazy because the moon is full. And rather than howling at the moon, they're howling at each other. All right, so for your your eclipse message, you've got the gate 35 and experience. So it appears that there is something, my dear Saggies, that you guys actually want or need to do. And there may be somebody telling you, oh, you know, you don't want to do that, or maybe that's not the right way to do it, or, well, you know, I did that and it wasn't a very good experience. And you're like, well, that's great, but I kind of need to have this experience for myself. With this card, I often encourage people to have the experience, but I will say this, if there are several people, and this is something that I believe universally and always have, if there are several different people telling you the same thing and those people don't talk to each other, don't know each other, etc., there's no possible way they can all be wrong. That is the universe working through your people or your network to deliver a message. If you get the same message twice, 3, 4 times from different people that are not connected to each other, pay attention, all right? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.